We're going to introduce you to John Burnham, whose name is permanently affixed in the baseball record book, but he's more concerned with helping youth and families.
All right, we've teased you enough. John Burnham is here to explain his unbreakable record and to describe his journey from minor league baseball to dry cleaning and from there to Christian family counseling. John, welcome. Thanks for coming into Home Life today. All right, we've been talking about this, and you've been a pitcher for a long time. What is this unbreakable record? I mean, every record can be broken.
Ralph,
every record.
It's a freak record.
Okay.
It involves one pitcher in one inning, 3 outs for that one inning. And I've given about 80 seminars around the country, and I'll ask this audience, I say, what record do you think it is?
Yeah.
And they give me all kinds of ideas, but only one person in 80 seminars guessed what it was. I'm a right-handed pitcher, and they wouldn't think this would be the case. I picked 3 men off of first base in one inning. Either they got on by base hit, got on by a walk, or got on by base hit, and I just picked them off. And what they would do, they'd cross their legs. And when they cross their leg to then shuffle off, when they cross their leg, they can't get back quick. And I would shorten up the stride, and I'd throw over quick. And so that's my only claim to fame.
And that could never be broken, right?
That never can be broken.
3 guys in the inning, and they're gone.
Yeah, Baltimore said, well, Burnham can't get him out at home plate. Maybe he can get him out at first.
All right, let's talk about Baltimore a little bit. Were you a pitcher all your life? Did you grow up pitching?
Well, I grew up throwing things, and my dad said, you know, breaking windows and breaking street lights, you have to pay. So he took me to a Cardinal ball game, and we lived pretty close to the Cardinals, and so I was watching them play. He said, John, see, you can throw and make money.
Sure.
So I started pitching on the grade school lot, you know, and one day there was a fellow up there with a suit behind me, and you know, you imagine, hey, maybe this guy's a scout. Yeah. Well, I was firing away. Pretty soon he came up and he said, what are you throwing a hard ball in a softball diamond for? I said, well, I want to be a professional baseball pitcher someday. I thought I'd better start now. He said, see my right hand? And it was all gnarled, and every finger was broken. And I said, what happened to your hand? He said, I was a catcher for the Red Sox for 13 years. Now I'm a scout. And I tell you, it got all over school. Burnham's skinny and ugly, and he'll never be on a baseball card, but this guy's interested in him. And he said, you keep it up. Don't throw curveballs till you're a teenager. And he said, I might be the one to sign you. That's all I needed, an incentive like that.
You were set like that.
So out of high school, I thought I was going to sign.
Sure.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
So I went to Bradley, and the coach there said, Burnham, you throw hard so guys are swinging and missing, but in college they pick out strikes to swing at. So until you can throw strikes, you're not even going to start for me. I didn't start till I was a junior. And my junior year is when we won the Missouri Valley Conference Championship.
Wow. Wow. So from college?
Yeah, and you know, I didn't hear about that record until my dad had gone back to the College World Series, and this guy was sitting there and said, say, I see you every year here. Are you a scout? And my dad said, no. And the guy said, well, I'm a statistician here. What are you doing here? He said, well, my son pitched back here in 1956. He said, what's his name? I'll look it up in the microfilm and see if he's got any record. And that's how the record was found.
And that's how they found it?
Yeah, 15 years after the fact.
All right, so the fact is then you got into the Baltimore Oriole organization. How did that come about?
Well, the Orioles said, you finish your senior year at Bradley, and if you don't make it, you got your scholarship to fall back on to be a teacher and a coach. And if you do well your senior year, we'll fly you out to the Baltimore and we'll sign you. Well, Harry the Cat Burkeen was behind me on the mound. Paul Richards was in the dugout. And I looked down at Harry Cat Burkeen. He's small anyway. And I'm standing up here, 6'4", looking down at this hat. You know, there's his hat standing there. And so I said, well, if he can pitch Major League Baseball, and that gave me an incentive. And you know, I got nervous hitters standing up there trying to swing. And a nervous hitter and a nervous pitcher, you match those two up, well, the nervous pitcher always wins because the nervous hitter doesn't know where the nervous pitcher is going to throw the ball.
I know.
So I looked real good, and Paul Richards gave the nods and signed the boy. So right after I signed, I called my girlfriend, Bev, and I said, hey, we got enough to tell Dad we got enough to give you real security for at least 2 weeks, you know, bonus. So that was how I got involved with the Orioles.
Okay, John, out of the Oriole organization, skip a rock across this for the couple of minutes remaining. Through a dry cleaning business, God was working in your life. You got saved, your wife got saved. You're now into a tremendous ministry of counseling with teenagers. You got a new book out.
Right. I found that in baseball it was a springboard to talk to teenagers in the first place, and as I talked with them over the years, we accumulated many stories about how it turned secular conversations into spiritual ones, and more people would come to Christ on a personal, individual basis. This book basically encourages people. They have a sphere of influence that nobody else has. So everybody that would read this book would be encouraged that they can do the same, because the Lord will work through them in a special way.
Every chapter is a different kind of pitch
Right.
that you're making. And,
Right.
and as a Christian, we're pitching all the time.
That's right. And the Lord sets up the conversation. It's a divine appointment. The Holy Spirit takes over, and you find yourself involved in a spiritual conversation with ending, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to receive Christ right now? And they say, why, I'm glad you asked. I mean, it's almost like that, because when they're ready, fine. You don't pick green apples, you pick ripe ones.
One of the ripe ones.
Right. So if you see they're ripe, I mean, go for closure. You know?
And that ripe one is there when you least expect it. You were on the plane coming in, weren't you?
Right, and the girl sat next to me, and only seat in the plane, and she got in and had to wait to be bumped 7 times, and she sat down, and she said, why are you coming? And I said, I wrote this book, and she asked Christ into her life.
Right there.
Yeah.
Wow. John Burnham with The Winning Pitch. Great counseling for teenagers or just about anyone. Fun book. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
being
Ralph.
with us
Appreciate it.
on Home Life. Vicki?
Thanks, John and Ralph. Now, there's a guy that probably does know a thing or two about angels in the outfield.